No.
We're just all so good at you, yes, sir.
Somebody left America like once.
Oh, I know exactly when this is.
Yeah, kinda, dude.
You know what? Go for that.
All of my teammates.
This might be like very interesting.
I don't know flags.
Wait, simple. 15,000 kilometers off.
Oh, no, I don't think we see. Pickles, no, again.
Looking good.
No, Pickles, like, when I speak not again, like,
It's as
no, that means.
Just better, Bethel! Oh my God! Dude! I'm easy to us!
Switzerland. Not very well traveled, guys.
Look, there's the mountain.
It's
The mountain's Storsik.
Yeah, you know, Storsik, like you do.
Storsik Mountain, come on.
I would
This
just
is
like
just
round
2 points right now, right?
Yeah, 2 points. Give me another point. Round number 3. Ready.
I'm ready.
Oh no.
I mean, this is obviously looking at these.
Little too close.
Easy.
I'm 17.
Better than Cinnamon.
Okay,
Oh, I'm 10,000 miles from you? This time
Yeah,
it's
okay,
my game, that's what I'm saying. I'll put it to my guesses because I know. Okay,
Wait, what?
Probably, maybe it's like. What am I initial thought?
Wait, you only get somebody guessing the current game. I'm gonna get it!
Your guesses carry over to the next round, and sigils. Your win streak is still running. You will die. Nico goes out!
I was the bounty!
I did easiest thing of my life. One guess was easiest. Don't tell me I got this one wrong.
Yeah.
Activating decoy. BDA 1 down. Fine, right. Back to target. Weapon is aiming towards the top. Reliable little gun. This SMG is mine. Why the hell not? Dropped him. Undead threat neutralized. Hit him right in the grill. One left, rotten hostile. Headshot always does the trick. Damn right, you took a beat. Sons of bitches got me. Good looking out.
God, finally.
Looks good to me. say no.
I'm afraid your men are down, Ray. My team will complete the specimen analysis.
Once the specimen is in place, the station will initiate genetic data transfer. That's not good. Not good at all. Specimen's still active. I think it's sending out a signal.
It's ringing the damn dinner bell. Strike team, hostiles moving in. Protect the station until data upload is complete.
They're attacking the station. Strike team, more headed your way.
Alright guys, so this video is going to be absolutely insane. A ton of stuff went down. I'm sure you can tell by the title and thumbnail of this video what happened. But basically, I'm going to do a little bit of explaining before I get into it. This stuff was kind of a vlog, but it was mostly just focused on what happened. But yeah, I was just chilling at home any normal day. And obviously, I live like across from the school, so there's always a lot of stuff going on, so I didn't pay much attention to it. But basically, some random kid blew up my house. I thought he was going to play basketball or something, and then he was just waiting outside the house for like the kids out in the elementary school to stop him in the playground. Like, that's what I originally thought. But an hour goes by, I was like, yo, this guy is still like moving around, driving his car, and I noticed he like backed the car over the curb. I was like, what is this guy doing, bro? I just like didn't think anything of it. An hour later, he was still outside the house, still didn't really think anything of it. I was kind of weirded out. Then I was like, workout downstairs in my gym, and my brother came home real quick, and he had to leave right away. So when he was leaving, he said, I had a friend here. I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, what's his name? He's like, Alex something. I'm like, I don't know an Alex. Like, who is that? And my brother left, so I went looking out the window and stuff, and I was getting like super freaked out. I was like, yo, why is this kid moving back and forth, looking through my main window, my living room window, looking through my bedroom window, like looking through everything, moving back and forth nonstop. I was like, yo, this is creepy. Like, now I know this guy's here for me, obviously, because he said he's my friend, he's my brother, and I'm out here like panicking, like, yo, what's going on? Like, super sketched out. You guys have to realize when people come to our house that I don't know, like, it's scary to me. I don't know their intentions. I don't know why they're here. Like, it's weird. Like, I feel super unsafe. I made this stupid decision to go outside and confront this guy, and you guys will see what happened. It was just super weird and just like scary at the same time. Yeah, I'll show you guys in a second. But before we get into that, make sure you guys smash the like button on this video, subscribe with notifications on, make sure that they are set to all so you do not miss banger videos like these. I'm about to move out to California with the Ireland boys. It's gonna be insane. So guys, make sure you take me for that. We have a ton of insane stuff coming. My videos are gonna go from here until I can't even show you how freaking crazy they're gonna get, boys. So make sure you guys show some love, share the video with our friends, let your friends know. IDP times Jack 40 times solo flow, guys. It's gonna be crazy. A lot of stuff's gotta go down. But yeah, before we get into the video, I want to thank the sponsor of our video. Let's go. I have something to say. This video is being sponsored by Current. Current is literally the future of banking, guys. Everything happens on your phone. They keep it simple and authentic and don't hide anything from you. They're pretty much building tech that banks nowadays should have built a long time ago. And I know a lot of you guys are my age or around my age, and I think it's super important to have your own card because it's 2021, everything's going digital, and cash is losing its value, and it's just way more convenient to have everything on a card. Like, look how cool this card is also. But yeah, Current allows you to take control of your own finances and track your spending. You get instant notifications, there's no hidden fees, nothing like that. And I recently used it to obviously buy some stuff on Amazon, so I'm actually moving from New York across the country all the way to California, and there's a ton of furniture I need to buy, so I've been using my Current card to pretty much buy everything. It's super easy. I can pretty much use it for absolutely anything. It's so convenient. It's made my life a whole lot easier. I know it'll make your life a whole lot easier. And it's just the biggest thing that's happening to me in my life. Moving across the country is huge. There's a ton of things I need to keep track of, like rent, utilities, furniture, and just a ton of other costs I have. And I'm able to keep track of it with my Current card, because if you download the Current app, everything is on the app. It's super easy, super simple, which is so important. So if you guys want to support me and help me out while also helping yourself out, I recommend going to the link in the top description down below, download Current, sign up, get your free Current card, and I know you won't regret it, guys. It'll probably be the best decision you ever made. Current is the future, and you guys don't want to be late to it. So go to the link in the top description down below and click the link, sign up, and change your life, baby. Let's go. There's this guy outside it. Waiting outside the window. And I have video of him literally like moving his car looking through the window. Now I'm sitting outside when I pull up. This man has been outside my house, bro. There's no reason he can't leave, bro. He knows he's recording. He's not moving. This is like the scary stuff about being a YouTuber, guys. People come to your house and like you just feel like so unsafe. You definitely oh, you're just gonna be not, bro. This guy's like full on weird. I was working at the gym and my brother was leaving to go to work, and as he was backing out, he's like, he called me there. He said, "Our friends here." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, "Do you know when Alex was sits here?" So I'm like, "No, I don't." And my brother's left now. I'm home alone, but I want to go outside. I noticed his car out here 2 or 3 hours ago. I think around 12 o'clock. It's currently 3 o'clock. I first noticed it because he pulled up in front of my house and he like backed over the curb and yo, this guy's clowning, but and he's still here. Like I think I have to ring doorbell. Bro, he's moving outside my house, bro. He's moving back and forth like crazy. What is wrong with this guy? He just keeps back here still moving. He's still trying to get to the angle of my house. Yeah, I'm just looking at my basement and this guy's like still outside my house. Like, what a weirdo, bro. Just saw looking through the window. And I have to go pick up my little dog, Major. Just got like the bath or something. He just got groomed. So I have to go pick him up with the lead. So I'm gonna record myself leaving the house to get a lock all the doors first. Because like, this just makes me feel so unsafe. I'm just gonna record right now. I'm gonna go outside and record right now. That's why I'm waiting on my house. I'm recording right now. Terrible idea. This guy might like kill me, but like, fuck it. Do it for the content, right? You know?
No, I don't that's not.
Bro, you can't get like 3 hours.
No, I say brother.
But why you still outside my house?
No, I told you brother. I don't mean anything bad, don't worry. I'm just saying, like, if you want to, I'll just look at that.
Why do you want to use random documents? It's so weird.
I know it's weird.
Yeah, but dude, you've been waiting here for like 3 hours. Bro, you've been here for like 3 hours. Your car's like shackled for 3 hours. I saw you in the window like the whole past couple hours. Bro, I don't know.
So I love it.
Yeah, like time to like, bro, that's so kind of weird. Why do you want to buy it?
Luckily, like, you know, with that way, I'm making the best
Right, you think the person you don't even know you.
No, but why about someone else?
Make videos, it's entertainment. Bro, people fucking hate it. You care that much about my way, yeah, that's just weird. I'm sorry.
This is going to be my first time doing a full custom hardline liquid cooled glue. And if I look a little bit nervous, it's definitely because I am. I'm absolutely no stranger to custom cooling. I've done some softline builds before. You can actually see these in the top right corner of your screen. But when it comes to actually cutting and bending hardline, I've seen it being done, but I've never actually done it myself. As you can probably tell, we are going pretty big here today. I think this is actually the biggest case I've built in years. This is brand new from Corsair. It's the 7000D. This video has actually been really helpfully sponsored by both Gigabyte and AMD. So we're going for X570, a Ryzen processor, and a Radeon 6800 non-XT. This is going to be perfect for high refresh rate 1440p. But if you're wondering the inevitable question, which is why we're not going for a 6900 XT, well, it's because there's a graphics card shortage, and this was the only one AMD had to loan me. Well, at least that's their official story. Maybe they just don't trust me with water and £1,000 graphics cards. I've definitely never broken one of those before. Oh no! X570 is of course pretty much the most feature-rich gaming platform that you can get right now. Obviously there are others out there, but this is the only mainstream platform that does actually have PCIe Generation 4 support on all of the slots for the chipset as well, rather than just the CPU. It's really interesting, however, because Gigabyte are actually about to refresh their X570 series with some brand new boards that don't actually have a chipset fan at all. It's definitely something that I guess a lot of us would rather do without, and all of their new boards that they're bringing out actually won't have a chipset fan at all, which is pretty cool. As you would probably expect, we're not using a Ryzen 5 5600X for this, we're actually using a Ryzen 9 5900X, which means we're getting 12 cores, which is going to be brilliant for someone like myself that wants to do some 6K multicam video editing, but then also play games without losing out on single core performance. Obviously we will not be needing a CPU cooler, but we will need to remove the stock mounting hardware, because we are of course going to be fitting a CPU block. This is of course it's the HydroX range, this is the XC7. Said with such certainty, but in my defence I've used this before and have thrown the box away. How much thermal paste do we need to use? I think this is going to be about right actually, nice little X. Then the easiest CPU cooler install you'll ever do is just put these on and then screw it in. We have a cloth and the brand new Royale lamp from G-Skill. So this is the Trident Z. If we have a look at it, it's very shiny. It's actually got like a crystalline effect on the top and then a small almost diamond cut mesh on the side. It looks really neat. This is 32 gigabytes of 3600 megahertz RAM, which is pretty much what you'd want to go for, I guess, if you're after the best looking and best performing PC. The only real downside is that if you do want to upgrade to 64 gigabytes, you'd have to get a whole new set and replace the one. As far as storage is concerned, this is actually something that is completely new to me as well, and I would wager new to you. This is actually a water-cooled SSD, which makes sense for our custom loop. It is made by Corsair, it is the MP600 Pro, 2TB of Gen 4 storage, hooked up to a custom liquid-cooled loop via hardline. Pretty hardcore. Okay, that is definitely quite big actually. It does say Corsair on it, if I have it up the right way. I mean, it's not obscene, but when you think the SSD is just this tiny sliver at the bottom, most of that is actually a waterproof block. All of these companies are trusting me not to break anything, and I don't trust myself. Come on, PC Centric, be confident, you can do it. The people are counting on you. Or maybe they just want this to end up in Reddit fails. I know you're thinking it. No, no. So here is our finished board then, and I don't know about you, but I'm thinking that the theming is working pretty well. The RAM sort of goes with the accents that we've got. We've got silver and black. But obviously once we sort of spice this up with some RGB, we'll probably go for like a AMD red sort of vibe. I'm thinking we're going to look pretty good. This is the 7000D from Corsair, and it is probably bigger and heavier than I am. Not that that's actually particularly difficult, but obviously it is very similar to the 4000 and 5000D from Corsair, but it is just a lot bigger, it's a lot more scaled up. This case is actually so big, you can fit 3 140 fans at the front and at the top. So if you want to do, what is that, a 420 radiator at the top and the bottom, I think you can do that. Why they didn't put this on the other Corsair cases, I don't know. A door. As you'd expect, it is very similar to the 5000D, just scaled up a little bit. So by that I mean you can actually have fans or radiators or dish plates or things here or at the front, and then you've got ample cooling at the top as well. For a case that is actually this expensive though, you would probably expect that they'd give you better fans as standard than these. It's not that they'd be terrible or anything, but you're spending an awful lot of money. In terms of the fans that we're upgrading to, we're going to some SP RGB Elites. They don't make much noise, they still look pretty good despite not having all of the RGB effects in the world. And if you are going to be kitting a case like this out with fans, this is definitely going to save you quite a lot of money. I'm installing this bottom one pretty much business as normal, like a fan, but then the two above it I'm going to fit my first radiator, which is going to be a 280. I've used this one before, and like a lot of the things I'll be using today, there is definitely a little bit of purple discolouring, so we're going to use red fluid, so hopefully it shouldn't be an issue. T-shirt change, because it's a new day. I have no idea if that's going to flow into what I filmed a few days ago, but we're just going to go with it. So the top and front radiators are in, and then this is the bit where it just takes a long time to properly plan out what you're going to do, because, while obviously I've still got to put the motherboard inside, I'm essentially trying to work out where all of the tubes are going to go and what the easiest and best looking route is going to be. Because realistically, this is the first time, as I say, that I've done this. I don't want to try and do anything too complicated, because it's just going to upset me, frankly. So what I'm thinking at the moment is we're going to use the extra space of this space to our advantage and just try and make everything as simple as possible. At the top, I'm thinking of using 90-degree fittings and not really having any bend at all, because I can just connect these radiators up pretty easily, to be honest. But then everything below that, I want to be quite visual. I mean, I want to do some bending. That's pretty much the point of this video, right? Remember that this is a hard tube, and every time you bend this, you do actually risk breaking it. So what you really don't want to do is have so many bends that you, let's say, get the first two right, then the third one you muck up. You would have to do this whole tube again, which can only be very frustrating, but quite expensive. And I don't actually have that much tube. Oh, what have I signed up for? Let's continue our build, though, by plopping our motherboard into place. This bit feels so easy. compared to the rest of it. This will probably give you an idea of the scale of this case now when you actually see a motherboard in relation to everything else. There's definitely a lot of space here. You could maybe put additional fans all down the sides, you could put like a fancy reservoir that has some fancy effects, and then sort of run it all the way down. You could do multiple loops, one for the GPU, one for the CPU. The possibilities, I wouldn't say endless, but they can't be that far off. I'm going to get a load of people commenting that my build is going to be too empty, but it's my first time doing it. Cut me some slack. Or I suppose you can't do that, can you? Because we're using hardline, not soft. That's the worst joke I've ever made. We are going to get all of the cables in place, as this is an AMD build. We're using these lovely graded red cables from Corsair. The power supply that we're using is 850 watts. This is my RM850i that Corsair sent me years ago. It is actually a little bit out of date, but you can find a newer one. So if you're interested in current pricing on any of these parts, you can actually find it from my Amazon affiliate link listed down below. Now, this is the bit in the process where things do start to get a little bit scary, especially if you've never done it before. So this is our air-cooled graphics card. This is actually fairly quiet under full load, but quiet for an air-cooled graphics card is still quite loud. So we do want to go ahead and put a water block on it. This is the RX edition of the XG7 RGB. So this is definitely the bits where you're going to need to put your big girl or big boy pants on. The block itself is the most recent revision. The main changes really are that you do have this little Dominator Platinum style effect on the top, which would be great if you're going to Dominator RAM. And then they have also tightened up the tolerances as well, so the chances of anything leaking is reduced. I'm not sure I'm selling that very well, am I? The chances of everything leaking and breaking your £3,000 PC is reduced. The good thing with the AMD reference cards is that they do quite helpfully use standard Phillips crossheads, so to actually get this pull apart is a lot easier. You don't need hex screws or anything funny like that. So there is the backplate removed. If I'm sounding confident at this stage, it's because this is in my repertoire. I have done this before, and it's not actually too bad. Hang on a minute. As a phobia of holes. Look at that! It's making me feel sick. This final bit is what I would describe as point of no return. Not because you can't reverse what you've done, but because once you pierce through this sticker here, you have voided your warranty. A couple of wines to be found.
Not all 5G networks are created equal. T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, most reliable 5G network. That's cute. Come on, we've almost got this.
Oh, I have officially broken that. Sorry, AMD. I can fairly easily resolder it and fix it, but it is just the RGB for the cooler that we're not going to use. But please do be aware, the RGB on the 6800 is easily prone to breaking. But anyway, mild calamity aside, here we have our 6800 in its full bare bones glory. We have the GPU in the middle that does all of those calculations. We've got the memory all the way around the outside, and then we've got VRM, voltages, and actually makes give the card a quick clean up with some thermal in place to maneuver, pick up the card and just gently push this down on top so that it lines up with all those holes. Grab the back plate, lay this on top. The reason that it's this straightforward is because Corsair have actually pre-applied all of the thermal material and all of the thermal pads that you need. The only caveat is that you can't really move this block to a completely different card, but to be fair, you can't really do that anyway. It's definitely worth noting that you could put this in a vertical GPU box and then you have it looking something along the lines of this, which actually I think would look better. However, because this is a PCI Generation 4 graphics card, I don't actually have a Gen 4 riser. Nice and easily. There's just something about black and white builds that just sparkle. Or maybe it's the round. No, it's the black print, but it looks good. The daunting bit begins now, actually getting the loop to work. And some of these, I think, are going to be quite simple. Because if you look at the graphics cards, straight into the SSD, run. Going from the SSD into the block, not quite so easy, because we sort of have to do a U round. I think we can get that working okay. I do think the runs to the radiators should be okay, from the block and the radiator again okay. It's more a case of where we're actually going to put this pump, because we can mount it to the radiator quite easily, so we can either have it anywhere along here, but my original plan was to actually drop it in at the bottom, because I think that would look the neatest. The issue, however, is that the fill port is located on the top, so we can't use this to actually be part of our loop. We need to keep this free. So the issue by putting it down here is that essentially you're going to have both of these coming up and out, which might get a little bit more complicated than it needs to. So I have indeed fitted the pump down here. It's very easy to mount it. You can put it on a radiator or just fit it into a fan mount with some bolts. Very, very simple. This isn't going anywhere. What we've got here is a simple 90-degree fitting on the ball valve. This is currently turned off, and of course it will remain turned off until we're trying to drain it. And then we can just hook up a bit of soft line, run it over the edge of the desk into a bucket or something, open it up, and then just lift the case, and then gravity should do pretty much all of the work for us. In terms of the fixtures and fittings that we're using, I actually ran out of chrome fittings, which in the end has turned into a good thing, because I want this to be like a black, silver and red theme, as we've talked about before, and I really like the look of these chrome fittings for the hardline, mixed with the 90-degree adapters but in black, so we've got a mixture of black and chrome going on here. Now comes the time to actually start cutting and bending some tubes. The kit that we're using to achieve this is actually also sold by Corsair. They've sent this one out as well. It is the XT Hardline Bending Kit, but you should note that while this has everything you need to cut tubes, it doesn't have everything you need to bend it, because you also need a heat gun. Fortunately, Amazon exists, and I ordered a Bosch Easy Heat 500. Inside the box you get this little clamping tool so you can actually keep everything steady. You've got this little silicone inside tube thing, and you use this so that you can actually bend the tube without warping the middle. You've got this little chamfer tool so you can clean up all of your cuts. You've got a bend guide so you can get nice clean 90-degree bends. And then finally you also have the hacksaw. Definitely not the most premium one I've ever used. This is actually all plastic other than the metal blade, but it should be more than good enough to actually get our hardline rig up and running. The silicone bit goes in the end then, being careful not to push it in all the way through. You then grab your heat gun, lay it out on a flat surface. We're going to start with this bottom tube because it's probably the one that matters the least, because it doesn't matter where the bend actually appears, and that will give me a little bit of practice. So I roughly want there to be a 90 degree, probably about here-ish. Then we'll begin the heating. We want to try and keep this in one straight line, but make sure we are heating up the tube nice and evenly. So what I've done there is essentially cock it up. But we can do that freehand. And there we have a bend. Didn't go to plan, but it's my first go. Then we just put this on it. When you open up one of these fittings, do not lose the O-ring. When you grab your hard line, push it in gently so it's snug, lower this one down, and then you secure the fitting in place, and there you would have a bit of hard line. Doesn't look like much at the moment, but give me some time and I might learn the ropes. On the whole, I'd say that the process did go quite well. I wasn't really entirely sure what to expect. There was definitely a bigger workload than I was originally anticipating. What you're seeing now is a time lapse from around about 2 days, probably actually about 2.5. Not because cutting and bending every tube took a long time, but because the learning curve was just so steep with this thing. I actually ended up redoing all of the tubes pretty much at least twice, because in order to actually get that really clean, perfect looking finish that you've probably seen in all of these other videos, you have to get every single part of the process right. And it's very easy to do 2 or 3 bends yourself. You know what, I'm going to go for gold, I'm going to do another one. And then unfortunately you end up melting the tube a little bit, and then you have to throw the whole thing away. Or what happened to me a couple of times is that you either miscut it, and then your hard work that you spent an hour and a half on all has to be thrown away and you have to start again. Or you do a bend slightly wrong, and then you have to fix it, and then the whole thing just doesn't look quite as good as you wanted in the first place. This is exactly what happened with the bottom one. I was really proud of it at first because I had quite a lot of bends in and it seemed to fit it quite snugly, but then turning the PC around once everything was done, I then realised that actually it wasn't very straight at all, and if I just spent a little bit more time inspecting the computer from more angles, I I've got to save myself the job of either accepting something that is a little bit subpar, or again, the time just to redo everything. We rejoined the action, I think, 3 days after we originally started this project. This has been simultaneously one of the most fun things I think I've done in this studio, if not the best. I've honestly really enjoyed all of my time making this, but it's easily been the hardest thing I think I've ever done really for PG-centric. Not sure whether you can see this, but all of these bits of tube here are cuts that did not, well, make the cuts. I don't think I can recommend one of these more. This is the Barrow pressure tester. It cost me around about £35. I had to express ship it here. Essentially the idea with this, particularly with hardline, is that you just pump some fully, do that bit of pressure, leave it for around about half an hour or so, and if the pressure in the loop actually remains the same, then in theory you shouldn't get leaks. But if it starts to go down like it did many, many times, then you know that something in your loop isn't going up. You would have had water coming out, but instead you just have air. We'll get some kitchen roll and actually place this underneath the computer, so if there are any leaks, we can work out where they are. And the thing that puts me off so much about doing hardline on my personal PC in around about a month's time is just the risks of leaks. I think are so much higher than if you were using softline. That's not to say that it is going to leak, but I think with soft you have a little bit more certainty because you're not having to worry about having those really tight bends, whereas with this, it's pretty much anybody's guess. Let's fill this up with some distilled water and turn it on.
Enemy spy plane inbound.
If you breathe nicotine, you could be inhaling toxic metals like nickel, chromium, and lead that can damage your lungs.
No immediate signs of any spillage. This is a promising start. Power cycle it a few times, being really careful to make sure we don't actually run this dry. Here we have our custom hardline liquid cooled loop actually moving. I definitely have overfilled it a little bit. It's not really an issue because I was actually going to cleanse both the radiators and the piping anyway, because it is going to have a load of horrible bits of PVC in it. There's no way I could get rid of all of that. The downside for going for strong dyes in your system is that they will remain in your parts pretty much forever. This is from a previous purple build I did, and even though I've flushed these out multiple times, you can see we've managed to collect a little bit of purple water. And yes, this probably will stain our loop in the same way as our other purple colour, hoping not quite as much as this is actually pre-mixed.
This isn't working. We're behind.
That is really quite red actually. Give us some power.
Clear smoke. Enemy napalm strike incoming.
Oh yes, look at that. That was quick as well. You can really see it when it's red. Same again.
Hostile attack helicopter
It's
inbound.
easy enough, doesn't it? You probably have to do on, off, on, off, on, and off. Is this going to be the one? Or we finally get equilibrium? Yes! How about that? Do you want to see it with the paper towels removed and a lot more of the RGB on? I know you do. Here we go. Haven't properly leak tested this for an extended period of time, so I'm definitely hoping that it's not leak while I'm talking to you. But you can see it really does come alive. I'm sure that Corsair's RGB styling isn't going to appeal to everybody, but particularly on with the RAM actually, and you have all of those silver accents. As soon as you get a load of writing in here, it does start to come alive because it reflects off each other, and it really does make it more intriguing, I guess, the more that you look at it. I think I'm going to do a separate video all about performance and setting this up the best it can be. As I said, I've spent 3 whole days on this thing, if not a little bit more at the moment, because it's, well, technically it's Wednesday today. The video's going to be today, it's actually midnight. And yes, it is a little bit rough around the edges, even though I redid this bottom tube, looking at it from all of the normal angles, I don't think it's actually quite as attractive as I thought it was. But this is my first time doing this. There is a lot of room for improvement, but that is part of the fun, I guess. I am looking forward to the next time I actually am able to do do one of these, let me know your thoughts on this down below. I'm sure you have some. Hit subscribe for more videos just like this, including part 2. Smash the like button. But until then, I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Right, let's go rolling.
Water.
Camera rolling.
Do you have another water there? I need to run it up.
I was afraid this would happen. Yes, please. Mercy, thank you. I tried hydrating on the way over, too.
Take a sip for every 2 questions.
All right, everybody hydrating? I'm just saying, it's important. Let's get going. I'm Emilio Lacho. The show is simply put, where we take intimidating business obstacles and knock them down with solutions that are, well, you know, these topics are tough, but I'll make sure everything is explained in straightforward terms. That's the Simply Put experience. Zach Lonigan built experiences of his own, and his role as Director of Digital UX at Jack Rattle Force. We talked to him about building a UX that's made to last. We'll look at his expert advice with an assist from Senior Manager of Product Marketing over at Salesforce, Complete Core. Zach?
I have 3 kids. My 6-year-old sees Nike and Under Armour on the street and he says, "Daddy, that's your job." I am a people person at heart, and I take pride in that when we can help service our customers and get them into the right fit. Technology allows us to have a better conversation with our customer. We want to try and make sure that all touch points within our marketing is dialed in and it's personalized and it makes sense to our customer. We want to make sure that they're getting to the right item as quickly as they can and converting. Something that I thrive on is how quickly we can change. In our business, we have to be able to adapt quickly. We've seen that with the pandemic. We are small and nimble, but the ability to change very quickly within the space has allowed us a lot more success and growth. Our migration to the